Well,
stop
that's
the
all
game or
fees.
wouldn't blow the whistle to serve until they all came through. They all their time.
8:30 tonight.
Yeah,
Isn't that
Yeah, they all came through after they had the deal.
politics?
we're short.
I guess that's what they're
Two.
after having the deal.
And I had one time I had it at 7 o'clock in the morning, oh, for an hour and a half. Everybody on with the young people. I can like her too long. I'm tired too, because I'm not young. Never liked her after that. She just nasty about it.
Well,
I guess she's just getting her feathers on,
They're
she just got started.
undefeated.
oh, that
Comes
happens.
Tuesday.
Did I just do that? Probably.
So I think they're
Well, Craig's
What's all the
supposed to put
free-
something about
or
the London 101's liquor license
something like that.
was gonna be talked about. I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
Maybe
But it's
this
Well,
done-
they might thought that might be showing
Bonnie
up to
comes
the
from
president.
Urbana.
Yeah,
Together.
I think so,
Yeah.
because there was some kind of time
But
deadline.
the conference they're undefeated. So is it Mercy?
How's it or about?
The JV.
Gosh, I don't know what to do about that tractor. I always use mine, recycling. I got the recycling back at the house, I use my old tub, we throw it out there, it gets full, I put it in the other one. And I put the other one on the driveway.
Young lady, how are you?
I'm gonna fool around and get myself locked out. No, I'm in.
Franklin Heights 2-0.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's good.
it is, yeah.
Oh,
I
they're
think
in
we
the
got a
big.
problem with them, but I think we should be able to, we knock off
It's all set up.
a few Albany, we ought to be able to knock them off.
I think that's what we got this one.
Oh, really? That's that.
Regular season.
Yeah,
I don't
It's
either.
only 10 foot less than what it's
September
done.
4th.
Yeah. Oh, and that,
Not ready yet, but I have an
that side would be,
idea
for an example,
would be
smaller.
better.
Uh-huh.
And so most of them are
Yeah.
bigger. I mean, yeah, I'd like to make them all a big lot, but then, you know, like Paul said, they wouldn't be affordable.
Yeah, but
And inside the house,
unfortunately,
put
we're
some
gonna have to move pretty quickly on whatever it is. It's so
landscaping somehow down
not
here.
so.
I mean, they got big lots, so they ought to have a couple houses.
October's the day, so
Well, I do think
some of them are gonna have a shorter turnaround. I talked to Noka,
green space, most of
and
them,
they would require.
I mean, a playground or anything.
Most don't.
Sure.
And
If-
I talked to somebody else that looped out there.
Yes.
that was
Yes.
four boys all back in the 70s.
Oh,
They're not told, but that was cheap home.
yeah,
They got built too many, not enough to keep it down. And they had, this is on the side, keep housing open London.
oh,
And that's what the school started, so.
Yeah.
And all these, not these, people just couldn't make it.
Yeah, so here's,
well, and in the
They had to
school,
cross the street down to all them, and down off of Cherry, out in
depending on the product.
the center and 38, that home is back there. That was built for them too.
yeah,
I'm not sure about this, but I just
They
have a
wanted to
feeling
do
that
that.
they don't deal with it. So,
well, and a lot of times, some of them, not always, but some of them, families aren't as supportive of school age children. And then that has caused some troubles.
You have, I don't, I didn't for
Yeah, I
Todd,
got it.
you got that.
Yeah, yeah, oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We have, young man.
These are the plans for Madison Reserve,
Okay,
harder, big hard copy. Because those other ones were.
This one, Madison.
There you go, sir.
Amazing what they gotta go through.
Thank you.
Rose family is
This is the Madison Reserve
pretty
stuff.
that was.
When you look at it online, it's blown up, so you couldn't read it.
Yeah.
Put it in the brain.
So this is all the stuff.
Oh, this is it, yeah, I was trying to decipher that.
Yeah, it was impossible to see. Pardon me?
Take these homes over.
No. This is the second reading.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna look that up a
Public
little
hearings.
closer, and I,
Yeah, with the public hearing, that'll be the fourth one.
Oh, yeah, this is much better.
well, and their streets aren't as wide.
Plans that were
When I used to live
cut
in
off.
Princeton, I hated pull my mirrors in and, you know, it really worried me. That,
And that's, I think, what you need.
Well, that's where it comes across.
But who am I? So I did,
This is the new one? This is out here?
I thought it was called something different.
well,
Madison Reserve,
As if there's a different one too, right?
the church.
We got one coming up here, one over there.
well, they changed the one going right. Well, they complained and so they changed it.
get us a better rate than it.
I think that'd be a good idea, but I understand why they don't want it, but that's how it was planned.
Yeah,
The gap between those two numbers.
so happy with the way it is.
Well, and they don't know if it comes through.
Yes.
You won't be one that sharp,
Yeah, this is sharp.
we'll be able to read the sign.
I thought, no, I thought.
Yeah.
That's right, we're gonna let it out.
My phone is on silent, yes?
Says these lots are going to be permitted 1 story to 2.5. On the edges.
What else is there? I mean, they're not gonna split levels. Maybe it's a police.
We're gonna have a buffer.
Call the meeting to order. Everyone, please stand for the pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence for reflection, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
For all.
Thank you. Clerk, could we have roll call, please?
Councilman Eads,
Here,
Councilman Hayes,
Present.
Councilman Hitt,
Here.
Councilwoman Jackman,
Here.
Councilman McDaniels,
Here.
Councilman Stahl,
Present.
Councilwoman Trainer,
Yes.
President Peters.
Here. Everybody get a chance to take a look at the minutes from August 21st meeting?
I want to commend the clerk for those minutes. You can follow along. When you read them, you'll understand exactly what was said and what went on. I really appreciate that.
All in favor, pass these minutes?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. No public hearings tonight. Communications and announcements, we do have 2. First one, we have an appointment for Civil Service Commission. This is to replace Steve Saltzman on this for, with Todd Beathard, with term expiring 12/31/25. Any discussion on this appointment?
No, I did email the mayor to ask if that was the correct date. And knowing that this is now September, I wouldn't be opposed, I don't know what the process, but be opposed to having that continue on. I don't know if he needs to come back for that or not.
Well, I think
Yes, so this is just to fill the unexpired term, right? And then I will come back at the first of the year with all the appointments that I have to do for all the terms expiring 12/31/25, which this will be one of them.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor of this appointment?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up is London 101 liquor permit. This is so they can serve beer there along with their liquor. It's already served there.
Right, they've been open for a couple years now. They When they opened up, there was not a beer license available. There was one available now. They've applied for that, and they're asking for council to approve that so they can also serve beer in their establishment. It's a nice place, but, you know, kind of limits some of the people that go in there. They have a lot of events there, and I think people would want to maybe be able to have a beer also instead of just liquor.
Any discussion on this? All in favor to approve this permit?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. 101 has a new permit. Next up, we have audience concerns. First up, we have Tara Shoemaker. If you could please state your name and address for the record, please. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Tara Shoemaker. I live at 257 Washington Avenue. I'm here to talk about Madison Reserve. I just wanted everybody to know that where I live, that's been a field. And it's not that I am opposed to change, but I knew at some point it would probably will change. But I just think you need to know when they cram, and that's the word I'm gonna use, 271 houses on 55 acres, I'm gonna lose this. And 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 study after study talks about how getting up in the morning and having the sunrise in your face actually adds to your well-being and your mental health. And everybody in my neighborhood will no longer be able to have these when those houses are inactive. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you. Up next, we have Matt Dacey. If you state your name and address for the record, please. And you have 5 minutes as well.
Thank you, Council. My name is Matt Daly.
Is that mic
Oh,
on?
it's Daly, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Live at 99 Andrews Northwest. All right, sorry about that. I did speak to council last time. I just want to reiterate a couple of things I said. First, traffic. Let's find the optimal solution to not only this development, but the 2025 plan that the master plan we're working on as a city. Let's find the optimal solution to that. Do not let this development impede the optimal solution to controlling traffic on 142. 2, parks again. I'm just going to reiterate, 38-minute walk to Calline, 52-minute walk to Merrimack, excuse me, 28 minutes to the library and 50 minutes to the schools. That's what these kids will have to do to get any kind of green space and playgrounds or anything along that line. In this development, 90% of the lots, a parent cannot go play pitch and catch with their kids. It is not wide enough to support that basic thing that most of us have done. These lots, they're less than 46 feet wide, 90% of them. For Little League, 46 feet is the distance between the mound and the home plate. That's what we're essentially putting these kids into. There's probably going to be 200 to 300 kids in this unit if we take the census numbers of 3 people per household. There's 271 households. Figure a few single-parent homes. So we're talking about probably 200 to 300 kids that are going to be in this development that will not have a place to go play, exercise, burn off energy, and that's going to be a burden to all the existing residents when they're playing in the streets or when they're doing whatever they're doing to burn off that energy. So there are solutions. This current plan doesn't have any, in my opinion. 10 lots could provide 2 3-by-3, 3-on-3 basketball courts and a whole football field's worth of open space for these kids to use. That's what I talked about last time. This is what I want to talk about this time. I also want council to think the long-term effects that 271 units are going to actually have on the city of London. Don't only think about these short-term scenarios, oh, we need affordable housing now, and et cetera, et cetera. This is going to be a 50 to 70-year thing that the city of London is going to have to live with. Austin, Texas, has been one of the fastest growing metro areas in the country. They have just had the lowest reported growth rate in 60 years. It is not inevitable that the central Ohio area is going to grow at the rate it has been growing in the future. Additionally, demographic shifts point to existing housing, our existing housing stock is going to get freed up. Over the next 5 to 10 years, the baby boom generation is going to be exiting the housing market. Those are affordable housings. I think 80% of London housing is under $300,000, which is the price point that they're actually trying to accomplish with this development. So finally, I just want to ask council, not let these plans to address short-term problems create blight and neglect, burden our existing neighborhoods because we allowed the builders and the developers to overshoot the actual need that London needs. So let me be clear, these plans are an unprecedented ask. 2/3 the size of our smallest lot is what they're asking for in these plans. We need to respond with a thorough review of what they're asking for and really think about what the long-term long-term prospects are going to be out of this. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Daly, what was your address?
99 Andrew Court West.
Okay, thank you.
Up next, we have Liz Wood. You could state your name and address for the record, please. You have 5 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Liz Wood, 304 East High Street. You guys may know it as the Hackett House. That's where my husband and I live with our son. I'm just going to kind of reiterate some of the things that we talked about from the community meeting up to this point as a community as a whole. We understand this lot's going to be developed. Everybody knows it. That's okay. We got it. I'm a realtor, so I really get it. What the big heartburn is we're putting a real high density into a small area with side streets that can't handle it. They're not developed. There's not enough traffic signals. There's nothing to control any kind of flow of the traffic. So that's a big topic that I think has to be addressed pretty directly without widening 142 again. We already lost 30 feet of our front yard from the last widening. We don't want to lose more because now we're losing our backyard to this development. So our lot is 3/4 acre. We have a beautiful view, like Tara said, of all those pictures. That's what we see too, and it's beautiful. And that's one of the reasons we picked the house, was because we wanted the peace and quiet. We wanted to be close to the city and not in the city anymore, and be close to our friends. So we accomplished that with this house. It's a perfect house for us. We love it, and now we're going to be having 5 houses, 5, in our backyard. Property line to property line, left to right, 5 homes on these little teeny tiny lots. That some of the square footages that the developer has doesn't even meet the current code, which is 1,200 square foot house for a ranch and 1,500 on a 2-story. And one of them is at 1,143. So the lots are too small. And Matt was right too in saying about the kids not having anywhere to go. You know what's going to happen is I'm going to have families in my backyard coming to get their ball or coming to touch the dogs or doing things that they just don't need to be in our yard. That's not what we signed up for when we moved out here. This was to be our forever home, that this is where we want it to be. We're very happy. And again, we know it's going to be developed, but does it have to be so many? And we need more separation from our existing homes to the backyards of these other homes. Because one thing I don't want, we just replaced our windows, is to have somebody's baseball come sailing through one of them. I have a kid too. I understand how kids work, so, you know. It's just really kind of, take a step back and think about it a little bit. This isn't just, oh, it looks pretty on a map, and it does. It looks pretty on a map. The colors are fantastic. But the reality is, we're going to have 4 years of construction in our backyard. And my son looked me dead in the face and said, how do you feel about not opening your windows for 4 years? The windows we just replaced. So, you know, there's consequences to those of us who live there. And if you don't live there, it's kind of, maybe you don't think about it that way. So I just ask that, you know, take a step back and look at what it takes with 271 homes. There's going to be at least 400 extra cars on the road twice a day. We don't have any traffic measures, controls. I'm a little worried about the water runoff since the watershed is going to be redirected. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Up next, we have Sean Hogan. If you state your name and address for the record. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Sean Hogan, 302 Andover Drive. The sheet I signed, I just put down Madison Reserve, everybody else did, but it's more of a general. There is something in here about it, but it's more general, something I've been thinking about for many months. I want to thank the council and the mayor, Closter, for your service to the community. First, I'd like to acknowledge the success of the summer's activities, the festivals, 4th of July, fireworks, and parade. Everything just seemed to go very well. And it also appeared that the new rules governing downtown events are working effectively. I would encourage council and the mayor to follow up after events by surveying both attendees and vendors. Their feedback would help identify problems that would make these events more enjoyable and successful for everyone involved. I'd hate to see vendors choose not to return because of some cumbersome regulations. Next, I'd like to raise a concern about the audio system in this room and on the live stream. I typically watch the meetings on YouTube rather than attending in person. The August 7th meeting was particularly difficult to hear. I attended the August 21st meeting personally here, and I found the in-room audio was pretty challenging as well. So far, this sounds pretty good from everybody that spoke here at this podium, but I've only heard 1 or 2 council people talk yet, so if you've done something, kudos. Regarding our parks, I'd like to commend the Mayor Closter and the council for improvements made to Cowling and Merrimack over the last few years. They've truly enhanced these spaces. Looking ahead, I believe additional parking would be beneficial, and in addition of a water feature, such as a fountain or pond, could make these parks even more inviting for families and visitors. More broadly, I'd like to encourage council to adopt a more proactive approach. Too often, it seems decisions are made in reaction to immediate issues rather than with a long-term vision in mind. For example, the city's trash and recycling services are at a crossroad. Whether to contract them out to a private company or keep them in-house should depend on the quality and cost of service to residents, not simply on preserving jobs, which was mentioned at the last meeting. The facility on Jenkins is outdated and will not be able to handle the demand of 1,000+ new homes in the coming years. I appreciate the new booth at the entrance. I was there Tuesday, and it doesn't really appear employee-friendly, but that 2:30 to 4 o'clock operating window just seems like more of a convenience for the city than to the residents. Personally, I like being able to take trash and yard waste to the facility rather than to drive to a landfill outside the county since we don't even have one here. However, the extremely limited hours are far from practical. As for the recycling program, whether it is capped or eliminated is less important to me than ensuring cost effectiveness for residents. It seems to me the purpose of recycling is to reduce manufacturing costs and landfill use. But since Madison County doesn't have a landfill, financial impact on residents should be the main consideration. I believe these are issues that deserve careful study by possibly a subcommittee with the eye on toward the future. Road planning is another area where long-term vision is essential. While traffic concerns are discussed frequently, I have not seen council present a true big picture plan. For example, Maddox Avenue wasn't even completed before speed bumps were being proposed on Jacob Lane. Residents of Lending Landing would have little reason to use Jacob Lane, aside from going to the fair, if there was access to Main or Elm Street from their neighborhood. Focusing only on Jacob Lane rather than addressing broader traffic flow is troubling. Instead, council should prioritize connecting Kenny Boulevard to Jacob, which would significantly improve access. Right now, the residents are being forced into longer routes just to get to schools and shopping. Having a comprehensive traffic and road plan in place would guide future development and prevent piecemeal solutions. For example, discussions of a traffic light at Kenny and High Street misses the big picture. Out of a 24-hour cycle, there are only about 2 to 3 hours of significant congestion there. I personally travel that corridor a dozen of times a week with little or no delay. Adding a traffic light there would cause unnecessary stops during non-peak hours. A more thoughtful approach to addressing peak congestion while considering this planned development of 271 homes at Madison Reserve over the next 5 years is essential. Creating forward-thinking solutions will serve the community far better than stopgap measures. Lafayette, it's a key shopping area in particular, must be a top priority. With the potential 1,000 new homes the next decade, it's already a congested corridor that will need expanded. Planning for that now is crucial if we want to avoid major problems later. And then lastly, I'd like to bring up the digital sign that's at the corner of Elm and Lafayette. If a comprehensive plan had guided this decision, taxpayer money might have been spent better. The current sign, it's visible only to northbound traffic on Elm, provides limited value. I'm also curious about the intended purpose. If it's meant to be a tool for city communication, a community bulletin board, or both, I don't know. By contrast, West Jefferson's sign, which was discussed during the meetings, talking about the sign, it's located on a major thoroughfare, visible in both directions, and clearly functions as a community board. In summary, I urge council to think beyond today's problems and adopt a proactive approach where London can and should be in the next 10 years. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. On to committee reports. Greg, do you have anything?
No, the finance meeting next meets on, I believe, the 22nd, Monday the 22nd.
Thank you. Brent?
We'll have a public service on the 9th, 5 o'clock, and public safety at 6.
Thank you. Rich?
Safety meeting at 6 on Tuesday the 9th.
Thank you. Andy?
Nothing else.
Shannon?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Nothing.
Lisa? Okay, on to city official reports. Pat, you have anything?
Thank you, President Peters. Good evening, and thanks everyone for coming out. Last week, we had the check presentation for the Mayor's Day sale. Shoe Sensation presented funds to representatives from London City Schools Raider Rack. The Mayor's Day sale, along with a donation from Shoe Sensation, was able to raise $1,000 for the Raider Rack. The $1,000 will be used to purchase shoes for students who need them. The Raider Rack is a free store for students in need. It is stocked with new children's shirts, pants, shoes, and coats. Teachers and school staff identify kids in need and send them to shop in the Raider Rack. All the items are new, and they are all free. With this, students feel more comfortable wearing things that they pick out at the Raider Rack. So I do want to thank Shoe Sensation for their partnership with the sale and everyone who came out to support the cause. This was actually double than what we've raised in the past. The London Municipal Pool is officially closed. This past Sunday, they had their end of the season final swim. The London Parks and Recreation Department provided free food and let people come in and swim for free. This season, the weather was definitely hit and miss all summer, but I still think it was a great year. I want to thank the department and the staff for their hard work this summer. Now they are draining the pools, and they'll start repairs and then begin painting the pools. The London High School homecoming football game will be held on Friday, September 19th. The week leading up, London City Schools will be hosting their Spirit Week with the homecoming parade being held on Thursday, September 18th at 5:30. The route will start at the back entrance of Madison County Fairgrounds on Garfield. The parade route will head east on Garfield and then north on Elm to the high school. Then the parade will end at Bolus Field, where the school will host a community pep rally. It's a great way for the community to come together and show support for all the fall student athletes. You know, they put in a lot of work into their sports and to their studies, and I hope this is going to be a great parade and a great showing for it, but also be mindful that day of traffic if you're going up Elm Street 38 or Garfield, because the parade does start at 5:30. Speaking of traffic, we know the Farm Science Review will be held at the Ohio State Molly Cairns Agricultural Center on the corner of State Route 38 and Route 40. That will run from Tuesday, September 16th to Thursday, the 18th. This does bring a lot of visitors to our area, which is great, but it does increase traffic. So just be mindful, especially out there on Route 40 and on 38. The London Police Building is coming along, but it has been with a couple issues, putting us a few weeks behind. They are currently completing the underground work, completing the foundation, and preparing for installation of underground electrical and plumbing. There have been some issues with ground stability, which is requiring deeper foundation, excavation, and ground stabilization. Weather permitting, the remaining exterior wall and foundations hopefully will be completed soon. The focus will then shift to completing the exterior walls and getting the building under roof before winter. I do want to let everyone know that I will be swearing in a new police officer next week, so I do want to welcome Seth Fry to the City of London and wish him the best of luck as he joins the force. Now on to the fun fact, which is the number 30. This year, Trick or Treat is on Thursday, October 30th. So, you guys know the legislation that Trick or Treat is usually on the 31st, unless that falls on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and then it is the Thursday before. So this year, the 31st falls on a Friday, so we'll have Trick or Treat on Thursday, the Thursday before, which is the 30th. So please remember that there is no weather makeup date. Never has been, no weather makeup day, so trick or treat will happen no matter what the weather is. But I do encourage people to attend local trunk or treats in the days leading up if they are concerned about the weather on our date. There are a lot of trunk or treats around London. I'm already starting to see them pop up on social media. I will, once again this year, put out information on the events as it leads up to Halloween. So if a local group is putting on a trunk or treat or an event, please send the information to me, or if you see when I start posting about them, just put it in the comments, so we can make sure that we let everybody know about all the trunk or treats going on. I would say in London last year, there were probably 10 trunk or treats leading up to Halloween. So that is all I have. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Steve, you have anything?
Just a couple things. So I'm continuing to meet with, obviously, the different offices that we have. Been doing the facility assessment. So actually, I met today with two separate council members who walked through both sanitation and the police, or fire department, sorry, looking at the facilities and some of the repairs and things that they need. I think I spoke the last meeting, or at least spoke with some of you about assessing all the facilities to determine what the needs are and the immediacy of those needs. So appreciate both Lisa and Brent took the time today to walk through those facilities and look at them. Met earlier with ODOT. So ODOT, I think we talked about a potential grant coming up. They're going to do the paving on 4th Street in, I think it's 28 or 29. They were in early in the week, talked about the requirements of the grant and getting that started. So I think we have to actually start things by March to push that forward. So they met with us, talked about the requirements of the grant. They also talked about some other paving projects that we may be able to be in line with. There is a cost to us, so it's more of the early parts. Bill Long was there, so I expect to take some things to the service committee in the next meeting or two. And then the mayor's already talked about the police building, so that's obviously taking some of my time weekly. Only other thing was meeting with Mid-Ohio, or actually attended the Mid-Ohio meeting, just trying to learn more about how that process is going. So I don't have anything else.
All right, thank you. Kenneth, do you have anything?
I have nothing, thank you.
All right. On to old business, up for 6th reading, ordinance 150-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 15025, an ordinance authorizing the city to enter into the Sustainable Ohio Public Energy Council, the execution and delivery of the agreement establishing SOPEC and approving the bylaws of SOPEC.
So as stated, this involves entering into SOPEC and approving their bylaws. But you wanted to present anything?
Yeah, so as promised to some citizens and other council members, researching various options to SOPEC. I did speak with a utility aggregator today as well as a utility broker. I communicated with our safety services director. And my proposal would be that this matter stay on. There may be some different options. I'll circulate to council here hopefully in the next day or two that may provide something that's a little bit more attuned with the needs of our community members. I don't have a full range of options yet for consideration, but I'm working diligently on it, so my proposal will be, we'll just leave it on. I can say that whatever path we go, whether it's with SOPEC or any other aggregator, it's going to take relatively fast action because our current contract with Dynergy is expiring. I think it's December 1. So we'll need to have a replacement aggregator or face the open market, which is a little volatile for utility at this time.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
No, thanks for doing that work. I'll be happy to see what you come up with.
Yep.
Okay. On to ordinance 151-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 15125, approving the plan of operation and governance for the Sustainable Ohio Public Energy Council Electric Aggregation Program and for the purpose of jointly establishing and implementing an electric aggregation program.
So this also involves SOPEC, joining the aggregate and accepting their bylaw or operations and governance.
Same comments.
Yeah, I guess we'd leave this on also until we can get more information on alternate options.
On to fourth reading, resolution 159-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 15925, and a resolution to abolish the City of London recycling program.
Yeah, and after touring the facilities today, this is just the first step in a long process of getting this place back in order. It's been neglected for years, and it's going to take a lot to get it back up the way it should be. It's definitely, like the gentleman said earlier, it's not going to handle thousands of more homes out here. So if we want to keep our sanitation department, which I personally think we should, we need to get serious about quit neglecting the facilities. All I have.
Mr. Saltzman, the last meeting I asked if you'd had a chance to look at this, and I'll ask the same question now 2 weeks later. Have you had a chance to review this to see if this program is something that we can save? I think the public comments that I've heard, people would like to keep the recycling program if possible. I just want to know what your opinion is at this point.
I think it's way too early to have an opinion one way or the other. There's a lot to look at, as Councilman McDaniel said, the facilities, the equipment. I have met with and talked with 2 other vendors about recycling, about the actual commercialization, how they would go about it, and what some of those costs would be. I hope to have something maybe to discuss at the service committee next week about additional costs. We're still tying down. I talked with, actually had a conference call with Mid-Ohio on collection of fees and how that operates earlier this week, and hopefully have a better idea on numbers where we're at. But I think to make that decision, we have to see all the costs and really determine what the potential increase of costs would be before we could legitimately, or I should say consciously make a decision about doing away with something like the recycling. It is an ongoing, I mean, we're definitely looking at all those options and what the costs are.
I think some of the concerns in the Service Committee meeting that Rex had mentioned was it requires 2 trips for trash trucks, which creates wear and tear on the trucks, plus additional costs for pay to workers to do those routes. And then also another one of the issues was the recyclables a lot of times don't qualify for being recyclable because they don't meet the standards of cleanliness or material that's in the recyclables, that kind of thing. So those were some other things that were brought up.
However, this isn't a change. We've had to run the route twice ever since we started the recycling program. We've had the wear and tear on the trucks ever since we started the recycling program. This isn't anything new. But it's become a point of contention now with trucks breaking down. So, I mean, I'll be curious. Also, Mr. Saltzman, I mean, we have options here. We can bring this to a vote and kill it tonight. We can table it so we don't have to discuss this at every meeting until you're ready to, or we can leave it on. What would your suggestion be? It is. What would your suggestion be?
I think it's a fair way to do it. There's, in the last 2 weeks, I've looked at a number of different things. I don't have near enough information to make a recommendation to get rid of that service now. I think this time, my recommendation, my personal recommendation, that we keep evaluating, keep moving forward with that. We do have city employees, we have facilities, we have trucks, all that. I know you say we've had those, but these are ongoing issues that need to be addressed. And I think part of that is to look at the recycling, whether it is, is it costing us more money for it? I don't feel like I have enough information I can advise to do one or the other. The new truck or the lease truck it appears to be working out for them. I don't have any clear numbers of what it's been the last 2 weeks, but we were out there today, and someone going constantly as we were there. I think it's working better for them, but there's a lot that I need to be able to make that be recommendation.
Have we received the truck, the new garbage?
So, one of the last things, Rex, was got the 6-month lease signed. We signed it. I did the credit card app and had the truck the next morning. And the other truck broke down, put it to work that day. So we've had it for about 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks.
So
They leased instead of bought.
so we leased.
Lease. Oh, yeah, okay, that's right, you were gone. Yeah, the purchase did not, it did not meet the requirements. The bid didn't meet the requirements
Okay.
that we needed, so we ended up leasing a truck from Premier up in Cleveland there for 6 months.
Mr. Eads, I can tell you that nobody should have to work under the conditions that they're going through now, and they have been. And if this helps them at all, it's worth it,
To eliminate the program.
at least for now, until we can get, this is just one thing that's gonna need done out there. I mean, there's major work that needs done out there. You're looking at least $250,000.
Okay. So it's the 4-3, and I'm just asking, what's your suggestion, Councilman McDaniels? Do you want to leave this on?
I would rather help the program and instill a little bit of pride back into them and get this department back up and running 100%.
I think we'll just leave it on for the time being until everything has been studied and we've crossed our Ts and dotted our Is.
We'll leave 159-25 on.
Just let the roofs fall in too, if you want.
Yeah. Up for third reading, ordinance 165-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance 165-25, an ordinance amending the policy and procedure manual.
Once again, 16525 is the policy procedure manual. Most of this is just procedural things, removing language about water and sewer departments, which we no longer have. There are some some little things in there that were corrected, I think mostly due to contracts that have already been submitted and passed and accepted by the city, so there's some language just to clarify that in the policy and procedure manual. When we discussed this at finance, we didn't find anything that seemed to cause any issues. So since this is the third reading, I move that we adopt.
Second.
Mr. Aids?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels?
Yes.
Mr. Stoll?
Yes.
Ms. Trainer?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 165-25 is passed. Up next for second reading, resolution 167-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 167-25, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Well, Shannon's the sponsor, but I'll talk first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually reading other stuff. Let's
Oh, okay.
see.
So, once again, we've discussed this many, many months in committee. The original proposal was to create a new full-time position with a salary that was gonna run somewhere between 65 and 80,000 plus benefits. That seemed steep. We didn't know that we needed a full-time position for that. We asked our auditor if she would look into an alternative plan with Clemens Nelson, who currently does our payroll. And we also asked her to check with other communities that have a part-time resource person. She did get an email back from Haskell. It seemed very favorable for that. If we have any further clarifications we need, the auditor's here. She can answer those questions. But as a finance committee as a whole, we decided to bring this to council so that we can start this process, have somebody that's part-time, and then in the future, that'll help us make a decision whether we want a full-time position here or not.
And this amount would take us to the end of the year, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
$17,000, correct? Okay.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Okay. Up next, resolution 168-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 168-25, a resolution increasing appropriations.
Well, that's on me. So the law director, we have a new law director. We needed a new computer so she could do her job better. I don't know what happened there, but it was pointed out that this fund's not been increased for many, many years. The fund is running low. They just want to be able to do that, and probably whenever you have an elected official that changes, you want your letterhead to match that. Whether they print that on their own or they go get it printed at Wilson's, I'm not sure, but they're only asking for $3,000. Because they're running low, the auditor asked that we put an emergency measure on this, emergency clause on this, so that they could have the money to be available to be spent now since they're running low.
What are council's wishes on this?
Any discussion on it at all?
What's that?
Is there going to be any discussion on this at all?
Yeah, or-
What do you?
I mean, we've got roofs
Yeah,
fall, yeah, we have roofs falling into the sanitation department, lintels and steel, our fire department's crumbling. And the purpose of a laptop is to be portable. Why do we want all of our information outside of the building anyway? Just don't understand this.
Now, the law director probably would need,
For a laptop.
would probably need a laptop, take to
$3,000.
court, when she goes to court, be able to take it with her to court when she goes to court. That'd be the important part, having a laptop for the law director.
For work. Yeah, I wanted a $3,000 laptop one time too.
Well, that's also
Don't
including-
work, and I went out and bought it.
That also includes miscellaneous items for letterhead as well.
Do we, Ms. Otter, do we have any more clarification what miscellaneous means here?
I forwarded you Janelle's email. I believe she's had to buy, Janelle needed a new computer this year, which a lot of computers have been needed to be purchased because of Windows 10 going out of date in October. They needed business cards for Raquel, printer, exactly, but I don't think $3,000 is asking a lot to get her through because we're needing her for her requested items.
Any other discussion?
I'll move that we suspend the three reading rule.
No second.
Ms. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels?
No.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
No second.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Ms. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels?
No.
Okay, resolution 167-25 has passed,
68.
or 68, I'm sorry. On to resolution 170-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 170-25, a resolution increasing appropriations.
So this is $25,000 to upgrade cybersecurity and IT due to security problems with systems getting hacked. I think Fayette County has been struggling with that issue for several months now and haven't been able to function because I think most of their business is on computers. So it's important to upgrade cybersecurity and prevent issues, try to prevent issues.
Right, and this was also mandated by the state. And we didn't, I don't think they actually put that out until June or July, that this was gonna be mandated by the end of the year. So basically, we just need to get the plan put together, and the 25,000 will help us do that. And at the last meeting, I believe, our auditor said she thought that the bill would probably be more than that when it was all said and done, but this gets us started, just because we do have a mandate by the state. Any further?
Correct. We actually met with tech support again this week and got some quotes for multi-factor authentication to be implemented. I think this is probably the most important thing to get implemented for the city. Like I said, like Greg shared, there's requirements from the state being passed down because of technology constantly getting hacked and information stolen. So I think this is huge. It does give us a starting point, but I do think it's something we need to probably incorporate into the budget annually moving forward.
Price on this right now is 25,000, is that correct?
That's to get started. yeah.
Started.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is there any kind of urgency to this?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to suspend the three reading rule.
Second.
Mr. McDaniels?
No.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Ms. Trainer?
Yep.
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels?
No.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Ms. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Resolution 170-25 has passed. On to resolution 174-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 174-25, preliminary participation legislation, paving and installation of a high visibility crosswalk, ramps, and lighting on State Route 38.
So this involves State Route 38 being worked on, but then there's some things that the city wants to get accomplished while that's being done, and that's handicap ramps, I think some underground water lines, which I think Mid-Ohio has already approved.
The water lines is on the 4th Street project.
Okay.
The Route 38 will require, so that's part of the federal requirement with federal funds, that they have to meet the federal, the current federal ADA guidelines. So any of them in that area would have to meet. That's part of the city's requirement. That's part of what we met with earlier this week too, so that would be part of that. And road repairs.
So
Would be
that's
part
the
of our match.
city's obligation for those
Yeah.
pieces. Okay.
What section of 38?
So actually, we found that there's going to be multiple projects, 665, 38, 42, and 56 will be part. But with that cost would be somewhat exuberant. So we're looking at just doing a couple parts. The 38 would be 38 coming in town, and part of that Midway Street connection. We'll take over that part of that responsibility and trade. They'll take over that responsibility. We'll trade them for a small piece of 56. And then we'll look at a couple other, I think the 56 will be later, like 56 all the way to Circleville. And maybe some of that on 665 because of the project, so we'd look at 32 and I'm sorry, 38, maybe parts of 42. It's still to be determined, the exact parts, but this is the legislation, though, that we have to have back to them saying, hey, we want to participate, just so we can sign to participate with them.
What's the deadline date on that?
I think it's October, but I, to be honest, I don't know.
I think
off the
it's
top of my head.
October 22nd, if I
I
remember
think that's
correctly.
correct, yeah. We have another meeting set up with them next week to discuss more of the particulars on some of the paving parts of it.
So I guess it could be better to respond sooner rather than later.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule.
I'll second.
Mr. Hitt,
Yes.
Ms. Jackman,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels,
Yes.
Mr. Stahl,
Yes.
Ms. Trainer,
Yep.
Mr. Eads,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
I'll make a
Motion to adopt.
Oh, I'll second.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Hitt,
Yes.
Ms. Jackman,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels,
Yes.
Mr. Stahl,
Yes.
Ms. Trainer,
Yes.
Mr. Eads.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 174-25 has passed. On to resolution 176-25. Can I get a motion to read by title only?
So moved. Second.
Resolution 176-25, a resolution authorizing the advertisement for bids for personal property no longer needed for city purposes.
Yeah, this is, I believe, just to sell some mowers, some riding mowers that are no use to us anymore. And I don't think there's no hurry for it. You want to leave it on for a third reading, it's fine.
Any other discussion? Okay. On to resolution 177-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved. Second.
Resolution 177-25, resolution authorizing the safety service director, to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for the lease of the city farm.
So we do have a city farm. It's out there where Mary Mac is. It's in the back part of that. I believe it's around 150 acres. I don't remember the exact number of acres. Can't really do anything with that, so we need to farm that out or have it farmed. We do ask for farmers or anybody that wants to farm the ground to put in bids. We're ahead of our schedule compared to last time because we didn't get those in till March, and it was planting season. So I'm glad that we're on this schedule now that we have enough time that the safety service director can put the bid out and then decide which is the best bid for the city.
Any discussion?
There's an emergency measure on this, correct?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule on it. Second.
Mr. Eads,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Hitt,
Yes.
Ms. Jackman,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels,
Yes.
Mr. Stahl,
Yes.
Ms. Trainer,
Yep.
Move to adopt. Second.
Ms. Trainer,
Yep.
Mr. Eads,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Hitt,
Yes.
Ms. Jackman,
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels,
Yes.
Mr. Stahl.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 177-25 has passed. On to resolution 179-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved. Second.
Resolution 179-25, a resolution establishing a blanket and super blanket purchase order amount limit as required by ORC 5705.41D3.
So this allows purchase orders to include a variety of needs, vendors and services, payments, rather than just one item on each order. So I know we had super blanket defined last time, but trying to remember what
Do you
that.
want a reminder?
Yes, what's,
Super Blankets is a purchase order that has multiple payments on it. Oh, sorry. Yes,
Multiple vendors
yes.
for a super blanket.
You asked me too fast. Yes. A blanket purchase order has multiple vendors on it. A super blanket is multiple purchases with one vendor.
so it somewhat helps streamline.
Yes, and this is a requirement from the auditors.
working with a timeline on this?
It's something the city's never had. The sooner the better. It just means we become compliant.
I'll make a motion to suspend the 3 reading rule.
Second.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Ms. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Mr. McDaniels?
No.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. McDaniels?
No.
Mr. Stahl?
Yes.
Ms. Trainer?
Yes.
Mr. Eads?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Hitt?
Yes.
Ms. Jackman?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 179-25 is passed. On to resolution 180-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 18025, a resolution adopting the recommendations of the Planning Commission.
This is regarding the Madison Reserve project. Paul, did you want to respond to any of our community members that raised concerns?
I don't really have anything unless there's questions from council.
I think we should probably, this is scheduled for a public hearing, so we're on second reading. I think it probably just needs to stay on at this point.
Right, and everybody, I did reach out to the clerk for the planning commission because the copy that we have is really hard to read. It's kind of blown up, so everybody's got paper copies of those documents. Most of the documents you could read is they were just regular text, but it was the actual drawings or the layout of the properties. So we all have those now that we can look at. I also did reach out, just so you know, that I did reach out because I questioned whether or not the planning commission had the authority to do what they did, or at least in the way that they did, because it appears that the sections there are a little bit in conflict with each other. So I did get an email back from the law director today. I know that the mayor and the safety service director were in on that conversation, as was a representative from Mr. Gross. It didn't satisfy all of my questions, so I'll have further questions for the next meeting. I have an additional question I just want to run by the law director. I didn't have time to do that today.
Mr. Gross, can I ask you a question? Is there any way that you could see that the number of homes, and I know there's a lot of money involved here, but is there any way that you could see the number of homes coming down from 271 to?
Absolutely, but not without ruining the affordability of that development, right? So we've proven that we can build bigger homes on bigger lots and be successful in Madison County, be successful in London. There's no question about that. But what we've also proven is that we've driven a key segment of buyers out of the market, which are those folks that work in law enforcement, those folks that work at our schools, those folks that can't afford a $371,000 home. And that's what your bigger lot does. So just to be clear with that, Councilman Hayes, anything is possible, but lots of community feedback has been received, lots of changes have been made. I want that to be known and understood. I still understand that people don't want, change in their backyard, and, Ms. Shoemaker showed her pictures. Well, she showed a picture of my field, right? And I'm not going to ask for any copyright on that, but, that was a picture of my field, not of her land. The point here is, if we want to get attainable housing in Madison County, you can't add lots of cost and then reduce the number of lots. So another way of saying that is, when we look at the drainage, which I think everyone in this community understands is going to be an issue, okay? It's going to require a 72-inch storm sewer, 72 inches. By way of cost, Just for the product, you're looking at $700 per foot. So you could say, okay, let's put a 60-inch storm sewer in. Well, 60 inches isn't going to solve the drainage issues, because I'm not just solving them for the 55 acres I own, I'm solving them for my neighbors' properties that are contributing to those drainage problems, right? Like, these are the houses that are contributing to those drainage issues that don't have retention ponds. So when you start to look at the expense of the development, what does it cost to put in the proper storm sewer? What does it cost to put in the roads, the curbs, the water, the sewer, all of those things? It's very, very expensive. So then if you reduce the number of homes, you don't shave $1, not $1 less expense goes into the engineering, the roads. We're not going to make the roads shorter or narrower or anything along those lines. So the cost is a fixed cost, and then it's divisible by a certain number of lots. So to the extent that you reduce the number of lots in a meaningful way, I would just submit to you that you eliminate the attainability of those lots, and that's just the simple math. And so, you know, we've got a track record. I think I've got a track record of doing things in this town and doing them well, right? I can tell you when I built Bluebird, people didn't want Bluebird next to them. I think Bluebird's done a whole lot more good than it has harm. In fact, I don't think it's done any harm. I think it's done a lot of good. And then when I built the Butcher Block, right? The Butcher Block was what it's going to create all this traffic in town. I remember being in this meeting room saying, my concern is it's not going to have enough traffic because I've got to be able to make that business work, right? At the end of May, over $600,000 were earned in tips alone at the Butcher Block. That's pretty remarkable for working class folks that rely on that to feed their family. So I think the Butcher Block has done a lot of good for the community in the form of property the values and the tips that are earned and the salaries that are brought in from that. And then Sovereign Village. Sovereign Village, people were concerned that we didn't want old people living in this community because they didn't have kids. And that was a concern of a school board member at the time, literally, that they were old and they weren't going to have kids, and we need kids in the school because we were experiencing declining populations in the school. I think if you look back at Sovereign Village, it's something that we as a community can be proud of. If you look at London Landing, people questioned whether London Landing was going to be successful or not. London Landing has been immensely successful, but the homes are $371,000. That's the average sale price. D.R. Horton has begun erecting their homes. Their homes are going to be $450,000. M.I. Homes is going to start in November. Their homes are going to be $650,000. I think all of those are great products, but not all of those products are affordable. And if we are going to have a town that is prideful of having Stanley, having our police officers and our teachers live in this town, we have got to build homes that they can afford to live in. Interestingly, on Andrew Court, that was a government-subsidized affordable living project back in the day. There's no government money here. There's not $1 of government funds coming into this project. It is just trying to find a way to build a home in today's very escalated costs, in today's manner that the builder can, that the developer can afford to develop it, the builder can build it, and the homeowner can buy it. So this isn't being done anywhere else, and I think it's really important if council decides that attainable housing isn't the right thing, I get it. I mean, listen, I've got land adjacent to the city that I can look at that we can look at putting a product like this in. But I think it would be good for the city, and yes, the lot sizes can be reduced, but not while attaining not while attaining the attainability component. And I would say one last thing with respect to the project. What you're looking at today is not a fully engineered plan, because you don't build a fully engineered plan until you get a project approved, right? And what that means is there will be new things that come up in the engineering process. I mentioned the 72-inch storm sewer pipe. Okay, That's a relatively new dynamic as we're getting through some of the engineering as it creeps along. That's way more than I would have expected when we first started. But engineering is a simple mathematics process, right? And so that adds. So the one thing you can have comfort in, it will be not more than 271 homes. It may well have to be less because of all of the factors that come into this, but we shouldn't make it artificially more expensive because we want to or because we can. So, you know, if at the end of the day, the affordability component isn't that important, we can say, hey, that's not that important here, and you know, we can stick to the $371,000 to $650,000 homes. I was at London Landing after our last meeting. I saw a lady walking out on the lot. I, of course, was curious as to what she's doing there because it was my land, not something that was sold yet. And I went up and I said, hey, can I help you? And she said, yeah, I bought this lot here. And so Arbor's getting ready to sell it to her. They don't own it yet, but they're getting ready to sell it to her. And I said, what made you pick London? She said, because she said she was from Hilliard. She's like, I went to school here. She's like, and you know what? I haven't been able to come back because there hasn't been new housing product for a long time. And then she went to school, it turns out, with Mr. Eads. So she was as proud as she could be of the fact that she could move back to her hometown. But we haven't had that dynamic here before some of the developments that I've currently got underway. Any other questions from council members?
Well, at the last meeting, there were some points you brought up. You thought that you just said this is not being done anyplace else, but you said at the last meeting that it was, and you thought Bell Fountain was that place. So I've tried to find that on Bell Fountain, and I haven't had any luck with that. I have been on the Arbor website, and I can only find one model that I see that's going to fall under the $230,000. So to say it's in the 220s, sure, it's 228, 229, right around there. And the next price up was 232. And you've said it's going to be a variety of houses. So, I mean, that is the cheapest house with no upgrades is going to be the 228 at this point, and you're going to have a lot that go over that. And I remember that when London Landing started, the sign said from the mid-250s, and now that's increased to the high 200s, right? So the mid 200s to the high. And I understand how the cost have went up. I get that. But, you know, when that started and we thought, oh, these are going to be around 250, and now you tell me that they're 371,000, you're proud of that, well, that's fine. But I mean, it's went up quite a bit. So I just wonder how many of these houses are really going to fit that mold of being completely affordable that you've talked about. The other thing that you brought up at the last meeting, and I wasn't going to go into all this tonight, but you kind of put me down that road. Last time you said that that if we decrease the numbers, and my suggestion was 40, and that was just a number off, out of the hat. That if we had $2.5 million, I'm assuming that's your fixed cost that you're projecting right now. And if we divide that by 231, well, what is that going to do? Well, that's going to raise the cost by $10,822. Right? I mean, so does that keep that in the affordable range? I don't know. I mean, if that's the argument, I don't know. But I do want to say this before I get off my podium, so to speak, off my stage, so to speak, is this argument really isn't with you. You own land. You went to the planning commission and you asked for something, and you have every right to go ask for whatever you want. You can ask for 500 houses in there. The planning commission's the one who approved it. If council decides to vote this down, you're voting down a plan that you don't like that the planning commission's approved, not what Mr. Gross has brought forward. This isn't an argument with him. It's do we want to change that and allow houses on those small lots? This is my question that I've asked pretty much with the law director. It's not what Mr. Gross is trying to do, because I hope we get these houses. I hope we have houses that are affordable. But I just want to make sure that we have the focus on what we, as a council, are voting on, and that's not an up or down vote against Paul Gross and his development. It's just, do we, as a council, think that we should allow for that type of a development with those smaller lots? Mm-hmm. But we'll have 2 more meetings and a public hearing.
Yes, sir. So I would like to address a few of those points that you made. One, I am not the builder, you know that, you know, I've said that before, so I can't tell you where their development is. I do believe it's still Bell Fountain, but I'm not gonna swear to that with respect to them. It is a brand-new product line for Arbor, though, is my point. So, you know, when Tesla came out with their first car, they didn't sell it, you know, there's a time when it's new, and this is brand new to Arbor. They've got some in Indiana, and they've got some in Ohio, and I don't know the precise towns. And you're right, Greg, they have different options for people. So it's not a cookie cutter, right? Like, I've got different options for people at Sovereign Village. They're not all priced the same. Some people want a more spacious place and they pay more rent. Some people are very rate sensitive and they get a smaller place. That's just natural in any capitalist environment, right? So to suggest that they should all be priced the same and not have options or not have variations. So when they get a bigger lot, like last meeting you were talking about the lots, you'd use examples of what the very smallest conceivable lot would be, which doesn't represent the plan, right? The very smallest conceivable is not the average, it's not the large, it's the smallest conceivable, it doesn't represent the plan. If you're building a smaller home, you're going to be on that smallest lot. Sometimes people will pay a premium for a corner lot with a view of retainage and so forth. Or some people will want a basement dug. If you dig a basement, as they do at London Landing in some cases, you're adding like $50,000 to your home. That's a conscious decision. So a big point is, I don't think it's for this council or any government body to tell a homeowner what house they have to have or what house they should have. I think it's about giving homeowners options in a price range that they can afford. And if they want to upgrade, they can upgrade. If they want to look for something price sensitive, then certainly pursue something price sensitive. And those options are going to be out there. But the important thing, and I think this is the most important thing, that the home builder is, and they'll tell you this in their own words because they'll be at the public hearing. They will say, hey, listen, if you raise the cost of the lot by $12,000, $10,000, $12,000, whatever the number is, I'm not being precise because I don't even have bids on the project yet. You don't do that until you have a project. They'll say, we just aren't doing the project. It's not like we're going to do that and we're going to have a huge percentage of cost in our land. They're going to go to a place where they can get the cost of their land at the appropriate level. So it's not as if, though, you can just say, Gross, raise your price by $12,000, Arbor still build on that lot, because that lot price represents, and it's the lot plus the tap fees, you got to keep the tap fees in mind, it's the lot plus the tap fees have to be under a certain percentage for them to move forward with the project. And the tap fees are $17,500 for a $220,000 home, and the tap fees are $17,500 for a $650,000 home. So that is a real problem when it comes to the attainable housing, given how much those tap fees have gone up overnight. And so, yes, it's true that there is inflation all around that market, and this is an effort to slow that down.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You're the one setting the lot prices.
Well, I am the one setting the lot prices based on what it costs to develop the lot, right? I don't set the asphalt price. I don't set the price for 72-inch storm drain. I don't set the price for PVC. I don't set the EC Babbert price for the structures to make sure you get the proper storage. I have to go out and have an understanding of what those things cost, but I'm not going to put that lot price for less than what those structures cost, right? So I don't arbitrarily pick a number out of the sky and say this is what it is. When you increase the width of the roads, as we did in good faith, because that was demonstrated by, well, the safety service director and the chief of fire and the mayor, they said, we don't want to have roads less than this width in this town. So we said, hey, that's going to affect the price by X amount. And they said, we don't care. That's what we need to have, right? So each of those things are contributing factors. So we don't set the price of a steak at the butcher block based on some arbitrary factor. I look at what the price of beef is, and you got to take a look at what your labor cost is, and you got to take a look at what your food, your labor, and your building cost, and then you try to establish a price for that. It's not an arbitrary process. I thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. There's a storm ditch goes through there now, quite wide one. How does that take care of? Is that large tile you're talking about?
That's where that large tile will go. That large tile will take that ditch that you see and it'll take that water, it will move it underground so that it doesn't go out and disperse, all over those lots. And it's a very scientific engineered process, but I've never seen another site that I've ever been involved with that kind of capacity need. That's a really, really big capacity need. And when I talked to the engineers, they said, well, we could shave a corner here. And I said, no, we can't, because I know it's a real problem and everybody in this town knows it's a real problem, and it's got to be done in the most scientific best, like we can't try to run a ditch around the back corner and think that that's going to work, because it won't, you know what I mean? It won't work when you get that big flood. So there's real problems that'll be solved with this development going in there.
Thank you.
On to Resolution 181-25. Can I get a motion to read by title number?
So moved.
Second.
Resolution 181-25, a resolution adopting the recommendations of the Planning Commission.
This is regarding the proposal to build the Cypress Church on County Boulevard to the right of the Chamber of Commerce. Public hearing on this proposal is scheduled for October 2nd, 2025.
We have a gentleman out there. Would you like to address council? This is the property that your church is building or building on?
If you guys have questions, we can answer seems like October 2nd.
I got a question. There were some comments about play area for kids in the housing development, and Cypress Church is pretty close to there. Is there any, I haven't looked at the plans real thoroughly, but are there any plans to build any kind of recreational play areas around?
Yeah, right
the
now
church?
there's some space at the Chamber of Commerce. They have a covered picnic area, also the walking trail that's part of Stanley Park. I know that chamber, they've got a grant writer that's writing some grants for our Storybrook Trail, so we plan to utilize that space as well to expand any sort of ministry outdoor space. But yeah, they'll be, right now we currently reach children and students and have lots of activities for kids and students.
So with all the people coming in there, that would be a good recruitment
Yeah, it'd be great.
option to
Yeah, a lot
build
of-
some kind of play area?
Lots of traffic, so there'll be an opportunity to create another opportunity for people of the community to find a place to practice and experience faith in a new place. Yep.
Now, are you did you purchase part of a triangle piece that's in Stanley, in that wooded area now? Or is it?
There's a
adjacent to
plan
that?
with the London Community Foundation right now. We're working with them to just look ahead and see what the water solution might need to be for the property. And so with the London Community Foundation working on having an easement to add a pond to their property that would satisfy our storm drainage, but add a pond, and it would hold water. It's not just a place for water to go, but it would hold water to add to their walking trail as well.
Okay.
So
I see
not
where-
own it, just a permanent easement from them.
I see where it says open space 3 acres, and you can see where there's a pond, at least on this drawing.
Yep, yep.
If everything goes according to God's plan here, and everything's approved, when would your first service be, do you think?
You know, I don't know. I know that our builder feels like he can build it really fast, and I told him to slow it down and tighten everything up. We've been in this community for 6 years in portable locations, and so I'm not interested in making this too fast of a build. I want to do it right, do it well. You know, the dream would be before Christmas of 2026, not on Christmas Sunday. I'd rather do it before or after that, but potentially by the end of 2026, just depending on how things go with the planning and zoning, once we get back to them, and then weather always determines a lot.
I've had a lot of people up where I live been asking about it, and so I was trying to find out. So.
Yep, so hopefully soon. I mean, it's been 6 years, so we'll do it in less than 6 years from now, but as much time as the weather will give us.
Amen. Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate
Yep,
it.
Thank you, guys.
Any other discussion? Okay. New business, we have no new business. On to roundtable. Lisa?
I have nothing to add.
John?
I just want to thank the 1811 group, how nice downtown looks. Now all we have to do is get the poles painted. That's all.
Shannon?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Andy?
Service committee meeting is next Tuesday, 5 o'clock in the meeting room next door.
Rich?
Okay, I want to thank all of our city employees for jobs well done. We appreciate you very much. All of our city employees do great jobs, and sometimes I don't think they get the thank yous that they need, especially our, I don't want to point out anybody, but street department, police, EMS, fire department, auditor's office, tax office, they all come together and
Don't leave
do a great
recreation
job.
out.
And the mayor too, and the safety service director. I want to thank the 1811 group also, downtown, looking a lot better. Has some good comments were brought to me tonight about some things downtown. I'm glad that Cypress Church has chosen London as a permanent home, right across the street from where I live, and a lot of people are excited about it. We're excited about it. More power to them. And I'll just end this with, I just ask the Lord to continue to bless our city, take care of our people, and watch over us. Safety meeting will be on September the 9th on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. in the conference room. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Brent?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and listening, and like to reiterate about the working conditions, and not only at the sanitation department, but we also ended up at the fire station today, and we're lucky that these buildings are still standing. We definitely need to prioritize our spending here at City Hall and quit neglecting these facilities and get them fixed. That's all I have.
Greg?
Thanks for everybody coming. Mr. Gross, you brought your family tonight. I don't know why. I mean, is it civic?
I love them, Greg, I love them.
Well, I'm glad they showed up. I'm sure they're pretty bored right now, but hey, thank you very much. So again, thanks everybody for coming out. I do want to commend Councilwoman Jackman and Councilman McDaniels and Steve Saltzman for taking the time and the efforts to go look at those buildings. I've always thought that council should go tour the buildings at least annually, maybe every couple years, but at least go look at the buildings and just get a look at those. So I appreciate that. I understand we have to get the long-term planning. I'm glad that's going to start now. But I don't think we can jump the gun and decide to not spend a dollar here to save it for something we're not even sure what we have to do yet. So, there's a process that goes through, but I'm glad you guys went and looked at it so you guys have some thought process on how we move forward. So I want to thank everybody once again. Our next meeting for finance is on the 22nd at 5:30, right next door in the conference room.
All right, thank you. I want to thank everybody coming out tonight. Good luck to the London Red Raiders tomorrow night.
Amen.
And is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, let's see what I saw today.
Been down there.
You mean the hall? Building.
Thank you for coming again. Thank you for coming.